And we're live.
All
How you
right.
doing?
Well, great, great. How is everybody doing? No, I am not in jail. I'm up here at Chevrolet in Grapevine. It's, the end of the year. Got to get a car.
It happens to the best of us.
Well, my husband, yeah. Well, my husband getting a truck, but he don't know that he's going to be putting my signs in his truck. Yes. So, how's your week going so far before the great holidays?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. So my wife and I are actually going to be traveling on Friday. We're going to the we're going to Mexico. So it'll be fun to go over there to one of the vacation
Oh,
resorts. So it's been a busy day, just basically doing my day job, um,
okay.
getting ready for well, getting ready for getting off work, meaning have to close up everything at work and then get the house clean for the house sitter and all that, clean the dogs. So it's been a very busy day, but productive. So that was good. How about you?
Oh, cool. Well, I have been ripping and running. Yesterday was my husband's birthday, so we
Happy
wound up
birthday.
going to Oklahoma. Then, yes, I will definitely tell him that. And now today is my great niece's birthday, so happy birthday, Zaya! She is becoming a big girl now, 6 years old. So she's real sweet. So
Oh,
happy birthday, Zaya! And then today, of course, I had to go get two tires, y'all. It's just crazy. He went to go check my tire and he's like, you know what? I don't have no treads on the tire. And of course, I'm sitting up here laughing because I already knew that I didn't have any treads on my tire. So I had to go get two tires today. And then, of course, my husband, he had to go get him another vehicle. So that's where we're at today, right now. Is I'm sitting out here at Chevrolet waiting for him to finish. So yes, we are supporting UAW.
hmm. UAW. What's that? I'm not sure.
Uh,
Not
Um,
familiar with that.
well, that's at the auto center. Union
Oh,
workers.
oh, okay,
Remember?
all right.
Union
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're supporting them. Hey, it's a GM vehicle.
Yeah.
So, with all the crazy stuff that's going on, oh my goodness, this Senate race is going to be the death of all of us before it even really gets started. Good. So, of course, there's a lot of talk that's on the internet and everywhere else, and people are questioning Jasmine about why she jumped in the race. I'm like, listen, people, we got primary coming up between Jasmine and James Tallarico. We got two great Democrats that are running for office. May the best woman or best man win, and whoever winds up winning, we're gonna wind up getting behind them and support them. There's no need to be throwing mud before it even gets started. And I think a lot of it's not coming from Tallarico's team. A lot of it's just coming from the inside, and people are getting upset and mad because Jasmine threw her head in the ring to run, but she can run. She can run. That's just like anybody else that decided they want to run. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and I guess it's like house divided up in here. But I think once primary kicks off and the numbers go in, people go in there to go vote and stuff, people will get behind whoever our winner is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And another thing too, I would mention is initially Jasmine was not going to run for this position. I think that's another thing that kind of confused, not necessarily confused people, but maybe it bothered some people as well. Because I remember watching her being interviewed on WFAA, and she initially was saying no because she
Yes.
basically said she's never run statewide before, and she initially was not considering it. It seems like what changed, and I think
Hmm.
what she started to change her mind, what kind of pushed her was the fact that she kept getting asked that over and over again in various news interviews. And then when
Hmm.
they started not only asking that question, but then they would mention how there's polls out there that showed that she could beat both Colin Allred and James Tallarico. And I think as she kept getting asked that over and over again, she probably thought to herself, well, why not? Now, she did wait till the very last minute. She did wait for like the deadline to file, though she did at least kind of
Right.
give some sort of warning. She said, "Hey, I'm going to have a major announcement this coming Monday. That Monday being the deadline to file on the 8th." And I think a lot of people saw the writing on the wall there. But definitely, I'm assuming that Colin Allred probably got a private message and probably informed him because he did drop out the morning of and a few hours
Right.
before Jasmine announced. But it is an interesting progression to see how initially she wasn't even planning on it, right? Um,
Right. Right.
but yeah, it's definitely interesting. You know, I think a lot of us were kind of feeling a little mixed, even with the Tallarico versus Allred situation, because
Hmm.
I think a lot of people. Sometimes I see some Democrats, they get almost a little annoyed when they say, "Oh, look at these powerhouse candidates. They're going to primary each other, but yet look over here at this other race. This other race doesn't have like it either doesn't have powerhouse candidates or some other races just run unopposed, right?" Like I know back when
Right.
Colin
Right.
Allred first started running for Senate, he had to vacate his congressional seat in order to run for Senate to run against Ted Cruz.
Right.
And there was a massive way primary. I think there was like a 12-way primary, maybe four. Like, it was a more than
Yeah. It
10
was
candidates.
huge.
Yeah, it was the one that Julie Johnson wound up winning. But what's kind of crazy is,
Hmm.
you know, people were saying, "Man, like look at all these candidates running for the same office over there," but well, yeah, at the same time too, there was like other positions that were running unopposed. So I think
Hmm.
that's kind of the mixed feelings that people get, and also too because I'll be honest with you, I feel conflicted now. I mean, honestly,
Hmm.
before I was going to vote for Tallarico over Colin Allred,
Hmm.
but I mean,
Hmm.
Tallarico versus Jasmine Crockett, that's a tough one. I mean,
That's
that's
hard.
yeah. I just wish if I could wish upon a star, I would just like have James Tallarico run for governor. But we are where we're at. So
Because
yeah,
we had talked about that. I wish, I don't know if he had received a call from her and she told him, hey, this is what I'm going to do. We don't know if there was communication there, but I really wish that he would have pulled out and decided to run for governor because I really believe in him and I believe that he could do well for Texas. I really do. But that didn't happen. Now we got to choose between who we want that's going to best fit Texas. So it's going to be interesting to see how this race is going to be. But also there's like a three-way primary going on their side as well too. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this shapes up. But I feel like the Democrat Party need to pull together, quit mudslinging, and giving the ops more
yeah,
stuff to kind of like come after. And right now they're just targeting Jasmine. Before Jasmine jumped in, they was targeting Tellerico with some stupid stuff that was going on. So now it's like everything is towards her. So I'm like, we got to give both of them an opportunity to state what they stand by and then go from there. Because at the end of the day, we got two strong Democrats that's running that both love Texas and they're going to do a good job. Either one of them could win. Either one of them is going to do well by Texas. That's my thought.
yeah,
But who to vote for? Time will tell. We got till February to decide when early voting starts.
yeah.
February 17th.
Yeah, and it's two very, very different personalities. Tyler Rico, let's just put it this way: Jasmine Crockett's a fighter. Her claws are
Yeah.
out. She does not care. She will tear into somebody. Tyler Rico is a very different personality. He's the type of guy who will talk with
Hmm.
you. He'll be nice. He'll be humble. He'll never be mean. There
Yes.
isn't a mean bone
Yes.
in his body, right? And in the best way
Yes.
possible. I will plug this because James Tallarico went on to the. Are you familiar with the Jubilee Surrounded series? This is where.
No.
Okay, so there's a series called Jubilee. It's called Surrounded, and basically someone will sit in a chair, and in this case, James Tallarico, and then basically he'll be surrounded by there'll be a circle of chairs all around him, and all of them will be
Mhm.
basically Republicans or independent,
Okay.
and essentially it's always going to be like people against the person sitting in the center, and everyone
Okay.
and the chairs surrounding him each basically gets to have a turn to sit down with James Tallarico and try to press into him. And then, if they're not pressing into him hard enough, enough people on the outer circle in the ring can raise like a red flag. And if half of the people on the outer ring raise their red flag, that speaker has to sit
Mhm.
down, and then someone else who's surrounding James Tellerico gets to walk up and also try to challenge him. So it's a constant barrage of the person in the center being attacked, or in this case, James Tellerico being confronted, rather. And if the
Mhm.
person not confronting enough or doing enough job confronting, he gets voted out, and immediately someone else comes in. So basically, it's like a literal hot seat, if you will. And he James
Okay.
Tellerico went on to this series. If you go onto YouTube, you can look up
Mhm.
Jubilee James Tellerico Surrounded, and you should be able to find it. Um, I,
Okay.
I like the Surrounded series. It's interesting because the only type of people who are willing to participate in this kind of show, you know that
Mhm.
they can hold their own, right? And
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so but yeah, so James
That's
Tallarico,
good.
he's also been on Rogan. He's been on Fox News, been able to hold his own. I'm hoping that Crockett will probably step out more, and she'll have to try to also do the same because she'll. I'm not saying she has to do the Surrounded series, but try to get onto more podcasts and things like that. Because Tellerico's been at this like for a bit. I mean, Jasmine too, but for
Yeah.
he was running for different offices. So, uh, but yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But you know what? What I definitely want to hear more from Jasmine is to talk about her record to clear the air because a lot of people are questioning her record. And I want her to definitely talk about. I would love to have her on our podcast show and talk about her record and her platform because I think that she really will fight for Texas better than what we have, especially when we have so much going against us with the health care, education, everything is up under attack right now. And come December 31st, people are losing their health care, and we need somebody that's going to be fighting for us because right now, Ted Cruz and John Cornyn both voted for not expanding healthcare. So
yeah.
that's crazy when you know you got millions of people that's getting ready to lose their healthcare. So we got to have somebody that's going to be strong enough to be able to stand up and vote for the people and quit voting for your pocketbook.
Yeah,
Because right
absolutely.
now there's people hurting. You hurting the people with they're not going to be insured. So if even if they have an existing condition, they're not going to qualify. And then on top of that, if you do have group insurance like mine, I almost had a heart attack today because I seen how much my insurance was going to go up, and I'm like, oh my god, you basically we're going to be working for our health care.
Yeah, absolutely. Healthcare is a shit show right now. I mean, it's been for a bit,
It
but
is.
especially now, it's always really bad. It's always really bad when. Well, first, before I forget, you mentioned how we have a lot of people uninsured. Texas has more
Hmm.
citizens uninsured than any other state in the country. So this is particularly
Right.
hurts us in the Lone Star State. Now, I was going to say that it is particularly bad when you see that when MAGA Mike Johnson is being followed by a bunch of news reporters, and someone asks him like, "Are you in control of the House right now?" And then Mike Johnson's the Speaker of the House snaps back saying, "I I I have not lost control of the House." it's it's wild. It's also I think that's also what Paul Ryan said when he lost control of the House, right before he
Mhm.
decided to leave. But yeah, everything's a shit show right now. I think I don't know if it's confirmed yet. I mean, not to go off topic, but like Pete Hegseth, the so-called head of the Department of War, apparently is going to be let go. There's lots of everything is just bad.
Oh, that's
Everything's on fire.
breaking news.
Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing. He needs to be fired because he's ridiculous. I don't know why we had a drunk running the military
yeah.
anyway. That was just he's a disgrace. And I wonder how many other people are going to be losing their jobs.
Yeah. Well, what's fascinating about the Trump administration wanting to let go of Pete Hegseth is that it shows a different way that Trump used to handle his previous administration from his current one. What I mean by that is, in the previous administration, it was all about loyalty, and it still is. But now it's not
Uh-huh.
just about loyalty. It's that if you start making it's also about incompetence, where that didn't matter
Mhm.
before. Now, if you are incompetent
Mhm.
enough where it makes Donald Trump look bad, then he'll actually let you go. And that's something that's kind of new to this administration. Now, granted, this is a really bad thing. Like, if anything, like it's good to see Pete Hegseth go away, but at the same time, too, I'm now
Mhm.
going to be worried about who's going to replace him. For example, like
Right.
you have you're going to replace him with someone who's equally as loyal, of course, but they're going to be searching for someone who's more competent, and so someone who can actually do more serious damage. So it's kind of like I don't know if it's really good news or bad news, but um, yeah, he knows the writing's on the wall. We know this because he's been circulating. But there have been some people in the bureau who have leaked notes that from him that were memos from him that were going around talking about how he's basically packing his stuff up to get ready to go. But we'll be seeing
He
that
should
happen
have
very
packed
soon.
his stuff up day one.
Well, it was especially bad for Pete Hegseth is there is a clip of him, and he was talking about the Jeffrey Epstein situation, right? And he talked about how like
Mhm.
what was like real versus not real. And in the interview, and this was by like I think Fox News, one of the Republican media outlets, they basically said, "Hey, man, you used to host a podcast where you pressed all sorts of conspiracy theories about the Epstein situation." And his response literally was to say, "Well, yeah, but I was paid for that before, and I might get paid to do that again later." And it's fascinating for him to say that, for one, to admit that he was just paid to say these things, but it's too fascinating to think that he thinks that he can go back. Think about that for a second. He pressed so hard into the conspiracy theories over Jeffrey Epstein and all this. I mean, him and many others included, but him especially. And
A little.
for him to think that he can go back after all of that, I mean, he is pissing off his old podcast audience with the actions that he's doing as head of this major agency. And so I don't
Right.
think he can go back. I think he's pissed off enough people within his own base that even if he tries to go back to being a podcaster, his audience is going to say, "Well, hey, man, like what the hell? Like like you're just talking shit." I mean, probably maybe some of the right wingers already know that they're talking shit, but it
Right.
would be I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever be able to recover and gain all of his audience back after something like this.
Mhm.
But it will definitely be interesting to see. It's interesting to see the slow burn that some of these characters are going through. You know.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and I'm looking for them to get rid of a lot of his administration. I'm looking for him to start terminating people, but that's what you get. That's what he gets. He got a bunch of bad apples in there, and I don't know. It's like, do you keep them or do you get rid of them and get ready to expect for the worst to wind up happening? So I don't know. I'm with you on that. We might get a bad apple, another bad apple. So
Yeah.
2026. 2026 is all I can say. Y'all got to go vote and vote these people out of office. We gotta make some changes because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is again kind of crazy to think that it's. I mean, it's close, but it's not quite. It's not quite actually one full year yet because it's not January yet. And boy, I tell you, it
Right?
feels like it's been years. Feels like it's been years.
I know. I feel like I aged.
That's why in Toastmasters we were kind of doing a year in review because while we are less than 1 year away from the next election, but it's not 1 year of having this administration. And a lot has happened. I mean, when you think of the year in review, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think of some of the things that we've almost like forgot has happened, such as the whole Doge situation. Um, Elon Musk giving a Hail Hitler Zig Heil during the inauguration. Just how devastating things have been with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, um, Donald Trump, who ran on affordability, then turned around and said that affordability was a hoax, and now is trying to talk about affordability again. It's very, very wild. Just the back and forth, the level of inconsistency that we see. Boy, it's interesting because it's measurable. right? It's measurable when you think about how, if you recall, Donald Trump ran on the concept of making sure that you would spend less money on eggs, for example. And we have not really seen grocery prices
Oh,
change that much.
come
But
say hi.
oh, hey, hello, it's good to see you again, sir. Stephanie's husband.
He's harassing. He's harassing the salesman.
Nice.
Okay, I guess we're still waiting for him to finish up.
Okay.
All right, we can keep going. Y'all, this is what happens on live. You just never know what's gonna wind up happening.
Oh
I
yeah,
got
for
a
sure.
beautiful Christmas tree. I don't know if you can see it. That tree
Yeah,
out
yeah,
here.
it's
It's
kinda
really
nice.
pretty.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Mark VZ, he also dropped out of the race as well for Tarrant County Commissioner Judge. So he dropped out. So Alicia Simmons is not going to be primary. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
So
know too much about that. Is that because, was there just no hope for him, or was it more like a thing to support her, or do we know, or
I think he said he's going to go ahead and sit this one out and go ahead and finish up his term in Congress, which we need, in which his term will be up in 2027. So he's going to finish that out. So I'm quite sure in 2027 he'll be running for something. We just don't know what he'll be running for, but he's going to keep working. He's going to
that's
keep working, and this is a good thing for Alicia because we have got to get Tim O'Hara out because he's horrible for Tarrant County.
yeah, yeah, and to those in the audience, Tim O'Hare is the current Republican county judge for Tarrant County, and, he's the type of guy who will just kick people out of the courtroom when he just simply doesn't like them. During public speaking, I should say, during public speaking, sessions, which, by the way, when I say
Yeah.
this, uh, public speaking sessions are required by law in Texas to the county commissioner courts. At least once a week. I think it's at least once a week. I'd have to look up the
Hmm.
law to see if it's just a lesser than that. But by law, people are supposed to be able to walk up and talk to the county commissioner's court. I think for at least I think at least 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I can't remember which number,
Two
but
minutes.
yeah, and to
Two.
kick people out when they're legally the court is supposed to allow you to speak. So this is like a public. This is literally a public speech violation. I mean, sorry, freedom of speech violation. When he simply
Right.
when someone starts talking about a subject he doesn't like, just kicks them out. It's
I
unconstitutional,
know.
and yeah, he needs to go for sure.
He does. He does. He does.
He's
But let's talk about Denton County. Well, we got a lot of people that are running for office out here in Denton County, and it looks like it's going to be an interesting race, especially for the mayor race and also uh, precinct 4, the race that I'm running in. On the other side, looks like it's going to be very interesting. The mayor of Denton, he already has signs all over the place, and I'm like, okay, I'm bringing out my popcorn to see how this is all going to turn out. But we'll see who's who's going to be the winner out of that one. And of course, the rest of the justice, they got a lot of good
yeah,
judges that's going to be running for.
yeah, yeah. I tell you, it's going to be fascinating. I really hope. I mean, they should, but I really hope they do get all. Is it like a four-way primary, if I recall correctly? They
Yes.
have to have a debate because the only way Republicans win debates is to one up each other. That happens all the time.
Hmm.
I've seen it before, and if you're going to one up each other over the commissioner's court, commissioner court politics are very different from the rest of national politics. It's not about pro-life, pro-choice. It's not about gun control versus gun advocacy. It's about things like county-wide voting on election day, voting centers. It's things like the budget.
Right.
It's things like the 287G program, which deputizes local law enforcement as ICE, right? And the interesting thing is that the incumbent who is running, we thought she was gonna. I thought she had like health problems or something. I thought she was dropping out, but apparently, the incumbent is still here and running again.
No, she's in.
Yep, she's
She's
in.
in.
And what's interesting is the incumbent, while she has not voted in favor of voting centers in accordance to her party. She is still going against her own party because her party, particularly the head of the party, is Melinda Preston. So, like, Delia Parker Mims is to the Denton County Democratic Party, as Melinda Preston is to the Denton County Republican Party. Melinda Preston, she wants to end countywide voting even during the early voting period, something we have right now. And the county commissioners have not been going down that way. They know that that's just crazy, right? It's too crazy even for them.
That is crazy.
So I
And
expect that issue will come up in a debate on the Republican primary, especially in a four-way primary like this one. Like
yeah.
they're gonna have to start calling each other rhinos and things like that, right? And that's what I expect to see, because there's no other way, right, for someone to face an incumbent and win, right? Like, if you're going to face an
hmm
incumbent, you have to explain why you're running against that incumbent, right? And there's just a
Yeah.
few of those things. For example, another thing that Melinda Preston has wants is to have all ballots counted by a human hand with no electronic voting tabulators. The current commissioners are not going down that way because they know that it's way too crazy expensive. Because you have to pay those people to count ballots and things like that. So in Diane, the Republican
Yeah. Do
incumbent,
you know how long that would take?
yeah, no, it would take too long and insanely expensive. Plus, it's I always
Exactly.
say this to people, like, anytime Melinda Preston says something like that, I say, hey, all right, look, I understand that on the other side of the aisle, you say, oh, the electronic voting tabulators, they can be hacked. And I would say, well, at the same time too, when it comes to human brains, they're privy to bias. You know, Not to mention, by the way, another
Exactly.
thing to say to that talking point is that right now, as it goes right now, when we do a voting session, right, when we vote, we do have electronic voting tabulators here in Denton County, but there's, like, I think it was like maybe one or two or maybe three. I know at least one precinct is chosen at random, and the ballots are in fact counted by human hand, and then those counts are compared with the voting tabulator, just as a way of making sure that things are completely legit and official,
Mhm.
right? So, like, there's, like, a lottery system that just picks a random precinct and performs an audit every time we vote. Every time we vote, that happens. And Melinda Preston, the head of the Republican Party, she knows that because she was involved in one of those audits, right? So it's completely nonsensical for the head of the Denton County Republican Party to say that she wants to get rid of all electronic voting tabulators. But in a Republican primary like this, that would probably be something that her primary opponents will go on. They can basically say, "Hey, Diane has
Mhm.
not been going along with the party, the county party rather, in terms of eliminating electronic voting tabulators." I would expect them to go down that path because I'm not quite sure what other ammunition they can come up with when it comes to trying to take on an incumbent commissioner. But it will definitely be interesting. I definitely can't wait to see a Republican primary like that. I usually don't show up to Republican primaries, right? But I will definitely try to hide my face a little bit because I don't know if anyone will recognize me or not. But I definitely will show up to that one. That will be interesting to watch.
Well, I can tell you this here. I think that's one of the most stupidest things that they could come up with is having somebody to hand count when you have a perfectly good machine that can count it for you without you having to have human errors. I don't. I can't even imagine if you got over 4 or 5 thousand people in your precinct and you got to hand count. The judge will have to hand count those and then take it to where it's supposed to go. And then they got to go hand count it as well. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of manpower. They talk about waste. Well, they're wasting a lot of money as well. So
Yeah, waste, fraud, and abuse is what they say over and over again. That
yeah,
it is complete waste. It would be complete waste, fraud, and abuse because it just sheerly costs so
it
much
is.
money. Yeah,
It is. It costs money, and it's just ridiculous. You wasting taxpayers' dollars on being stupid.
yeah,
So that's a
particularly our
stupid
property
thing.
taxes.
So
Yeah,
yeah, take care. Why don't you take care of our roads? Can you do that? Because going down 35 into 635 is a hot mess. Why don't you fix that? Why don't you fix these county roads? If you want to spend some taxpayer dollars, make sure it goes to the right place. Why don't you make sure that we have affordable living so we won't have all these homeless people living on up under the bridges and stuff? Why don't you take care of those kind of things? That's the kind of things that our taxpayer people want. Oh yeah, and by the way, we want affordable health care. Why don't you work with these hospitals and see what you can do to help those programs?
Yeah.
But who am I? I'm just running for county commissioner, precinct 4. Remember me, Stephanie Draper.
And you're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna get you.
Yes, yes, we're gonna win, and you're running for county clerk, so we need you. We need. It's time for new blood. It's time for new ideas because the old ideas are not working. The
Yeah.
climate has changed. Denton County is growing. We need fresh ideas to help better Denton County. Period.
Yes. Yep,
So
absolutely. I mean, Denton County is fastly growing. We have more than 1 million people right now in the county. And it's particularly in northern Denton County, we have a lot of population growth right now. We're having
yes.
some growth pains, actually. For example, like another thing to touch on, just another county issue. And people don't like to usually talk about this too much, but not necessarily jail reform, but jail financing. We have one prison in Denton County, and it's not a federal prison. It's not a state prison. It's a county prison. So anything that bad happens in there falls upon us. And Denton County keeps on
Hmm.
getting sued. We keep getting lawsuits over like wrongful deaths and things like that. And when the county, get sued, our property taxes go up. Right. For example, there's one kid by the name of Heath Aaron Vanderventer, 27-year-old, died, and the medical examiner said that death was officially dehydration. A 27-year-old died of dehydration in our Denton County prison. Now, of course, his grandma is suing our county, and that means our property taxes are going up over this, right? There's a couple of other
Hmm.
situations, like for example, there was one lady who they took her job off her and they wouldn't give it back to her, so she's suing over that. There was another mysterious death that also occurred, but our prison is actually at not quite max capacity, but is hitting like 90% capacity right now, according to Sheriff Tracy Murphy. And this is a huge problem because as we continue to get our prison system stressed out, it's going to increase more and more lawsuits, and that means our property taxes go up even further. So I know that people don't like to talk about funding either prison expansion and or building another prison, but I really do feel like that's something the county commissioners court needs to look into, because, and the reason I say this, and I know some people are going to say, what, Dale, funding a prison? Like, well, one, it's unfortunately unnecessary, and two, I would much rather have a government run prison than a privately owned prison. Private owned systems
Right.
prisons are terrible, and we that's why, even though I know some people say like, what, I don't want my taxpayer money going to building a new prison, I would say, well, your tax money is either going to go to build a new prison, or we're going to get stressed out in our current one prison system that we have right now that's reaching near max capacity, and we're going to continue to face more and more lawsuits from wrongful deaths and things like that. Like, the money's going to go regardless. The question is, do we want to fund a prison expansion and or new prison, or do we just want to continue to let this happen and continue to collect the lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit? Either way, it's going to cost us. So I know it's a little bit
Right.
off the beaten path, but as we talk about our county commissioners issues, that's another one that we should be thinking about in terms of better leadership there. So yeah.
Well, I agree with you on that. We definitely need to be talking about a lot of our county issues, and that is one of the main things besides water. So we'll definitely come back to that and talk about that. Well, Dale, I think we're going to have to wrap it on up. Today is going to be a short one, so you can get ready to go pack, and I can get ready to go see what my husband's up to with this new vehicle of his.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, folks, thank y'all for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, Steph. We will be back. When are we coming back? January.
Yeah,
Well, we'll be back in January. So y'all have a happy holiday. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive, and call your people because a lot of people are going through depression right now. Make sure you reach out to your people that's always saying that they're strong and stuff, and that you know that they've lost a loved one or going through something. Check on your friends because there are a lot of people that are leaving this world, and maybe just one phone call would have helped save a life. So reach out to your folks. And I just want y'all to have a safe and happy Christmas and just be blessed.
absolutely, absolutely.
Dale, you stay safe out there in Mexico.
It'll be good. I don't think we don't usually leave the property. We're just gonna stay there.
Okay. Well, you enjoy. Do you want to do a closing out?
Sure. I will plug the Frisco Democratic Club. The Frisco Democratic Club is a club where we celebrate Democrats and also introduce candidates. We have two events every month. We have a breakfast club, and we also have a happy hour. At a happy hour, we introduce candidates. I give them a microphone with my amplifier, and they talk to the audience. We may, it's not confirmed yet, but we may have a gubernatorial candidate coming in our January happy hour. It's not yet confirmed, but someone who's running to be the governor to take on Greg Abbott has reached out to us, and it sounds like he may want to show up to our happy hour. Maybe. Looking forward to the confirmation on that.
Awesome.
I'll post on social media should we get him RSVP'd. Another
Oh,
organization I
that,
would like to plug is Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Now, truth be told, I would say usually this is the part where I say Progressive Leaders Toastmasters meets every single Monday, and they will be every single Monday starting in the new year. We're off for the rest of the year, just kind of like this podcast. Um, but Progressive Leaders Toastmasters, if you go to Facebook and look up Progressive Leaders Toastmasters, you'll find us. We have Toastmasters events on Mondays at 7 p.m. where you can go through the Toastmasters program and you don't have to worry about politics, or at least talking about democratic politics, because sometimes some people might get a little bit nervous. They may think like, oh, there might be Republicans in the audience, or maybe someone will stir up some feelings. You don't got to worry about that at Progressive Leaders Toastmasters because it's a club that celebrates progressive values. So, Progressive Leaders Toastmasters, you can find us on Facebook. It's both in person and online. So if you just want to check out, see how it works, just go ahead and join us on Zoom and see what we will be doing there. Another one I want to plug, also along with Toastmasters, I forgot about this, and I have to pull up the date. I guess I'll start talking about this next major event as I try to pull up the date on this. It's in January, and it's going to be a debate. We have a Democratic primary for Congressional District 26. We have a Democrat by the name of Ernest Lamberger and another Democrat by the name of Stephen Shook. And we're going to have a debate between those two individuals to discuss why we should vote for either one of those candidates. Here we go. It's January 26th. Mark, I'm going to be posting this on social media soon. January 26th, come out to the Progressive Leaders Toastmasters group, where we will be hosting a debate between Stephen Shook and Ernest Limburger. So, looking forward to that. And Stephanie, I'll hand it back off to you for closing.
all righty. Well, y'all have heard all the wonderful things and be on the lookout for my kickoff in January. So I will give y'all more details. So thank y'all. Have a happy holiday and be safe. And I'll see y'all next year.
See you next year.
Bye. See you later. All right. Y'all have a good night. Bye bye.